Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we will learn step by step how to run Windows 11 in a virtual machine on your Apple Silicon devices for absolutely free using the latest tech preview of VMware Fusion, which was released a couple of weeks ago and now officially supports Windows 11 ARM Edition. The very first thing you need to do is to install the VMware Fusion 22H2 tech preview on your Apple Silicon Mac. To do so, head over to your browser and search for VMware Fusion Public Tech Preview 22H2. You will see a blog post by VMware dated 28th of July. Click on the post and then over at the bottom, you will see a download link. Scroll to the bottom, click on the download now button. It will take you to VMware page where you will be able to download it. At the time of recording this video, the latest edition which is available is dated July 28th and you need to download the universal DMG file. Click on the download now button. It will ask you to log into your VMware account. If you already have an account, log in using that account or feel free to create a new account. It is absolutely free. Once you have registered, it will take you back to the same screen and then you can download the software. Once VMware Fusion has been downloaded, install it on your local machine. The very first thing you will see is a screen like this that will pop up. Please ignore this for now. We'll come back to this in a while. The next thing you need to have registered for Windows Insider program because you need to download the latest version of Windows 11 ARM Edition. To do so, again, in your browser window, search for register for Windows Insider program. Click on the first link that pops up, which is register for Windows Insider program. The upper link is insider.windows.com/register. In my case, I am already registered. You may require to sign in. Once you have signed in, you will need to click certain checkboxes and then you will start the Insider program. Once this is done, the next thing that you need to do, you need to download the Windows 11 ARM Insider Preview virtual hard disk. So for that, search for Windows 11 ARM Insider Preview and then click on the very first link which pops up, which is download Windows Insider Preview ARM64 by Microsoft. It will take you to the download page. Here, you have a couple of choices. You have two different editions that you can download. One is the beta channel and the other is the dev channel. If you want a more stable but a bit older version, you can download the beta channel, which is build 22598 in this particular case. But if you are looking for the latest bits with the latest features, but it may be less stable than the beta, you can install the dev channel. In my case, I will download the dev channel. Once you have selected the version that you want, confirm, and then it will start downloading for you. In my case, I have already downloaded it in my downloads folder. So this is the file which has been downloaded, which is Windows 11 Insider Preview Client ARM64. The very next thing that you need to do, you need to go to brew.sh and install Homebrew. So go to brew.sh and then it tells you how to install Homebrew. So you see a command over here. Copy this command. Next thing, open up terminal and paste this command. It will ask you for your password on your Mac. Provide your password. It will download and install Homebrew on your machine. It may take a while to install it. Yes, it is installed. Now the next thing that you need to do, you need to run the following command. Brew install QEMU. This will install the QEMU on your machine, which we will require to convert the downloaded virtual hard disk to a VMDK file which VMware can understand. So run this command, brew install QEMU. In my case, it was already installed, so it did not do anything. The next thing that you need to do is now to convert the downloaded VHDK file to VMDK file. So to do that, just type QEMU -img convert capital O VMTK, and then after the space, go back to your location where you have downloaded and drag and drop it over here in the terminal. It will automatically append the path to this VHDX file. After this, you need to specify where you want to store the converted VMDK file. In my case, I'm going to store it in my downloads. So you can say ~/download/ say Windows 11.vmdk and press enter. It will take a couple of minutes to convert this file from VHDX to VMDK, and it will be of the exact same size. So you can see over here, this was the original file that we downloaded, and this is the converted Windows 11 VMDK file. Now, once this is done, you can close the browser and we will not be needing this anymore. You can also close the terminal. Now go back to the screen that popped up. On this screen, select create a custom virtual machine. Click on continue. Choose Windows 11 64-bit ARM edition. Keep the UEFI option selected, but do not choose UEFI secure boot. Click on continue, and then it will ask you to encrypt the device or encrypt this virtual machine. You can provide your own password, or you can use the auto-generate password if you want, and then remember this password in the keychain. It is totally up to you. Once you are done, click on continue. On the choose virtual hard disk screen, click on use an existing virtual disk, and this is where we are going to select the VMDK file which we just created. So click on choose virtual disk, go to your downloads and select the VMDK file, and make sure that you select make a separate copy of the virtual disk. What it will do, it will create a separate copy and install Windows 11 in that copy. It will not install it in the original file. If you want to reinstall or install multiple versions of Windows 11 or multiple virtual machines, you can use the same file again and again. So click on choose, click on continue. Before you finish, click on customize settings and store or specify where do you want to store it. In my case, I want to store it in my virtual machines folder, and the name that I want to give is Windows 11 VM, and then save. It is now going to copy the file. Once it is copied, I will show you where it is storing. Now, if I go back, so I decided to store it in virtual machines folder. So this is where it stored it just now. At 11:46, just now it created this file with the size 10 GB. Now, before we run this, the very first thing you need to do, you need to go to processors and memory and allocate how many processor cores you want to allocate to this virtual machine. I would recommend to give it at least half the processor cores which are available to you. In my case, I'm running a M1 MacBook Air, which has 8 cores, so I will give it 4 cores. It is highly recommended that you give even number of cores to your virtual machine. And the next thing is how much memory you want to allocate to this virtual machine. On my MacBook Air, I have a total of 16 gigs of RAM, so I would be comfortable giving it somewhere around 6 GB. Usually it is a good practice to give it anything less than your half memory. So you can see, even after allocating 6 GB of memory to this virtual machine, I'll be left with around 10 gigs for my Mac. Once you are done, you can close this and start the virtual machine. It will take a while for the machine to boot up and the setup process to start. Alright, after a while, you will be greeted with the install screen. So choose your country or region. I will select US in my case. Choose the keyboard layout. I do not want to add the second layout. Now this is where you will get stuck, because at the moment there is no virtual network available to this virtual machine, and we do not have an option to proceed next. Luckily, there is a small bypass option for this. You need to press the function shift and F10 key when inside your virtual machine. It will prompt, or it will bring up the command prompt where you just need to type this OOB, it's not typing, OOBE \bypass NRO. So you just type OOBE \bypass NRO and press enter. Now this will restart the virtual machine for you, and you will have to start the whole process again. But this time around, since you do not have network or virtual network setup, you will be able to bypass. All right, so we are back. Let's select US. Choose our keyboard layout. Skip the second layout. And this time around, you see we have an option which says, I do not have internet. So accept license agreement, go through the whole setup process, give it a name, say my name is Naveed, give it a super secure password, provide some security questions. I'm just going to pause this for now. So we provided our forgot password options. Click on next, choose your privacy policy. And you are done. There are just a couple of things that need to be done. One thing you will notice when you start, there is no virtual network available, which means you cannot browse the internet, or you cannot go to the internet to download any additional software and install. And secondly, you are stuck with the default resolution which is provided by default, which is 640 by 480. So for that, we will need to install VMTools on this virtual machine. So yes, we are done with the installation. And as you can see, let me just move it a bit up. We do not have network. Even if I try to go and browse for something, I will not be able to. Yes, I do not want to do anything. If I go to Google, it says you are not connected. So we need to install VMTools in this virtual machine. But before you do that, you need to run PowerShell on your virtual machine, run it as administrator, and then you need to type this command: set Execution Policy RemoteSigned. This will allow us to install remotely signed software on this virtual machine. It is going to ask you, do you want to allow? Yes, we are going to allow. Press Y and enter, and you are done. Now, once this is done, you go to virtual machine and click on reinstall VMware Tools and give it a moment to install. Now, it is just going to pop up a ISO file in your virtual machine. If you open this, you will notice there is no installer which is available, but we do see a setup.ps1 file. This is a PowerShell file. To run this file, you need to right click on it and click Run with PowerShell and give it a few moments. It will install virtual networking and display drivers for this virtual machine. One thing to note that VMTools or virtual machines still do not support shared folders in this edition of VMware Fusion as yet. VMware will be adding this hopefully very soon, but I will show you a way how you can share files between your Mac and virtual machine in an easy way. So this is installed. You can click on it to exit. Now, if I go back to my browser and refresh, it should take me to the internet. And additionally, let me close this. If I go to my display settings, I should be able to choose a higher resolution now. Earlier, we were stuck with 640 by 480, but now we can go up to even 1920 by 1080. So you can see we have high resolution. What is the next step? So the next step is to have shared folder options. By default, there is nothing which is available, but there is a small workaround that we can use. What I can do, I can create a new folder called shared files on my desktop or anywhere inside the virtual machine. Once it is done, in fact, let me choose the display settings first, resolution, so you can see it better. 1366 might be a good option. Yeah. Right click, go to properties, go to the sharing tab, click on sharing, and then from the drop down, add everyone, add, and change the option to read write and click on share. The first thing it will ask is, do you want to turn on network discovery and file sharing for all public networks? I will say yes. Done. Now this file is, or this folder rather, is shared on this machine, which I can now access from my Mac OS itself. So let me close this. To connect to this, first I need to go to my settings, go to network and internet, Ethernet, and find out what is my IP address. In my case, my IP address is 192.168.161.129. I can copy it, and then I can click on Finder on my Mac OS, go to Go menu, and then click on Connect to Server. Here I need to type smb colon / and then the IP address. It did not copy for me. So we need to type in the address, which is 192.168.161.129. Connect, and it will tell you that you are connecting to or attempting to connect to this server. Click on connect. Here you will need to provide your password, the one that you set up. So I'm going to provide my password and click on connect. So I am now connected. So you can see I have access to the desktop, shared files. I can go to the shared files. Maybe I can try to copy something over here which is big enough. Maybe in this case, let me copy this big file, and it is copying a 10 GB file, and it will take around 3 minutes. But meanwhile, if I go back to my virtual machine, if I go to the shared folder, you will see it has already started copying this file. So that's how easy it is to run Windows 11 in a virtual machine on your Apple Silicon Macs. I hope you liked it and found it useful. If you want, you can subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the latest content coming on this topic. And you can also like the video if you. Thank you very much.